It is so easy this time of year to throw in the towel and say, you know what? That year was what it was. There's no point in me creating new habits, trying, having any intentionality, or you don't even think quite that drastically, but things just start getting busy and you kind of forget to like, even look at the calendar and see what day it is. And then suddenly 2026 is here and you're like, whoa, where did the time go? Today, we are going to talk about how to have intention for the end of the year, finish the end of the year strong, and not feel like we are heading into 2026 like completely exhausted, needing a break, needing rest, like needing a whole month to reset. I want you to feel like we are, this whole season, we are making space for reflection. We are being intentional with our time. We are leaning into the habits that we want to show up for in 2026. And we're not just being like, you know what? I'm done. I give up and just kind of giving ourselves a pass. No matter what kind of year you are coming out of, whether this year was a really great year for you and it was really successful and you feel like you accomplished a lot and you're feeling good coming out of the year and you're like kind of like, okay, you know what? I kind of just need a break for December and I will regroup in January. Or whether you are coming out of this year and you are feeling defeated, you're feeling like this year was a total wash. Why should I even try in December at all? Because it doesn't matter, like, this whole year, I didn't accomplish anything, or you're feeling just discouraged and feeling like, "What's the point of even doing this? What's the point of these goals?" Like, no matter what side of those things you're on, maybe you're somewhere in the middle, I just wanna encourage you that there's always time and there's always space for you to start fresh, to bring intention to your life, to, begin to have good rhythms and routines and habits, and that it doesn't need to this perfect thing. I feel like the message that we see online a lot is that productivity and success and habits and all these things are very like, they're very linear. Once you start them, you kind of just like keep going. You become this type of person and you just keep going. And that doesn't really account for the fact that real life exists and real life can be really difficult and it can come with lots of things that are unexpected. And I think that the key thing for us to be able to learn and take away is not, okay, how do I become this type of person and continue to be this type of person and kind of like master myself, master my habits and routines and like just always follow them. I think it is more about, okay, how do I build the character in myself that I'm able to when I go through these hard seasons, when I go through a season where I feel very unmotivated? How do I learn how to be able to pick myself up, start again, even when it feels embarrassing, even when I feel like, oh, I feel like I've done this so many times, I don't want to do it again? That is way more important, and that is way more, like, gonna serve you for way longer in your life and allow you to, like, thrive a lot more than it is just following a very rigid form of habits and success and all the things just for the sake of doing them. Let's get into it today. Welcome back to Hot Mess Habits podcast. Today, I want to chat a little bit about what the future of Hot Mess Habits is going to look like because we are shifting into a new season. As we're talking about today, we're talking all about 2026 and kind of like ending the year well, planning for the new year ahead. And so, I want to chat a little bit with you guys just about. I just want to talk with you guys a little bit about kind of what I'm planning for the next couple months. As you guys know, or as you may know or may not know, I'm having a baby in the end of January. So I'm currently starting to pre-record some episodes so that I will have a little bit of space where there are some pre-recorded episodes that I'm not recording in live time. And those will be going out so that there's not a huge gap for you guys when I have my baby. But I'll make you aware of like, of that happening and all that. One thing I do really want to add for 2026 is I really want you guys to be able to be more involved. One of my goals with like the podcast and my brand and all of those types of things is, the more business side of things is I do want to be able to expand into doing more resources outside of just the podcast for you guys. And one way that I want to kind of start easing into that is by including you guys more in the content that we're doing, having you guys be part of asking questions, actually solving what problems and issues you guys are going with. I feel like I do have a pretty good grasp in terms of like, you guys are amazing at like leaving me really good comments or like DMing me and like chatting to me a little bit about what you're going through. But I kind of want to expand on that a little bit more as we head into 2026 and be able to actually, chat with some of you guys, maybe have you guys put in some voice notes and me be able to like, chat or give advice on those things. So yeah, so definitely stay tuned for all of that to come. The best place I feel like to follow along with that is going to be on our Instagram. I'll be posting on our Instagram stories like some Q&A boxes and some things that you guys can give feedback on in terms of like, yeah, just building kind of those episodes out and what the like long-term vision is for Hot Mess Habits. So definitely follow us on there. It's just Hot Mess Habits on Instagram, and you can follow along on there. I also want to remind you guys that we soft launched the blog last week, and that is so exciting for me. I have been working on having a blog for the last forever. I feel like I've talked about this on here. I think it was one of my 2025 goals, maybe when I did my 2025 goals setting episode. I'll have to look back and see. But we are finally, like, that is finally live. And I'm so excited to partner that with the podcast. So every time that a new episode comes out now, there will also be a blog post for you guys. And that I'm just like, it makes me feel so much more organized because then if there's anything that I reference in the episode or like things that I chat about, they can just be linked in the blog post rather than I feel like in the description of like, especially on Spotify, I find the description space can be kind of like finicky to use in terms of like for you guys as the user. So I'm so excited to have that as like have the blog post up. You guys can click through that. And then also if you are someone who I personally like, I love to listen to the podcast audio of things, but then I do like to be able to kind of have like a written out thing that like I can look at and kind of reference back to. So I will definitely, as you, like I'm saying, you'll be able to click below and you'll go directly to the blog, which will have the like show notes basically from today's episode, just outlining everything for you. And then also too, if you don't have time to listen to the podcast sometimes, but you want to know what I'm talking about, you can always go and get the spoilers in the blog post. So very excited about that. Thank you all just like for your encouragement and support on that already. Um, yeah, I'm so excited. Anyways, let's get into things today. This time of year from like, end of November to end of December, I feel like is just can be very chaotic and just it is so easy to just go through this season and feel like blink and it is gone with the like, lots of people have lots of commitments. They're trying to get deadlines finished for work. They're trying to get school finished. They have exams. They're trying to go to Christmas parties and do Christmas decorating and like make Christmas magic for their kids. And there's just like so much that gets added on top of our like regular life during this season, which is lovely and great. And I truly love the Christmas season so much. And this is the time of the year that I just love it. And especially being a mom, it has been so much fun to be able to start to create traditions within our own family and do all those things. But I also know that on the flip side, it can be very easy for me to just like kind of give up on a lot of other things in my life during this time because I'm so focused on Christmas and like also just kind of like allowing myself to just kind of like ease up. But it's not from a place of intention. And this is what the difference that I want to talk about today is like there's a lot of times when I am choosing to rest and it is resting out of a place of like I am intentionally choosing to take a break and rest and try to recover and I'm resting both like my body and my soul and my mind and I'm resting all those things. There's that type of rest. And then there's the other type of rest, which I wouldn't even really consider rest, but it's just kind of like when we just give up. And that's kind of like, when you are unintentionally resting, but you're not being productive. So an example of this would just be like, I feel like for me, two big things are always phone usage and spending money. So those are things that I'm not like, I'm just allowing myself to be undisciplined about. So I am like, okay, you know what? Ugh, it's this time of year. I just want to be cozy. It's like been a long day and it's so dark outside. So like, I'm just going to sit on the couch and I'm just going to scroll because I don't really have the energy to do anything else. So like, and it's fine. Like, it's fine. It's the end of the year. Like, starting in January, like, I'll get my habits back on track. I'll get my screen time back on track. But for now, like, I'm just going to kind of let myself do this because I like it. Or with spending money, it's like, okay, I know that I probably shouldn't be spending money, but also, like, it's Christmas. And, like, also, it's Black Friday. And, like, this is the best time of year to buy this stuff. So, like, I should just buy it now and, like, I'll just deal with it in January. And those mindsets are really things that keep me stuck. And also, when it comes to wanting to start the new year strong, which I feel like a lot of us do, especially if you love productivity and wellness and you want to be the kind of girl who like resets her life in the new year, I feel like it makes it so much harder to do when you're coming out of a place where you have been very like undisciplined and kind of just like, whatever. So I think that the more that we can have intention now and have really good habits in this season, it really allows us to shift into the new year with feeling like re-energized and ready to go and not just like so much resistance to get there. So that's why like that is for me one reason why I'm like, okay, you know what? Yes, I'm going to enjoy things at Christmas. Yes, I'm going to probably not have the same habits and routines as I normally do. However, I also don't want to go into January feeling anxious and stressed and sad and like just completely depleted that season is over. So I kind of want to be somewhere in between. And so I'm going to talk today about five different ways that we can just really end this year well. With each step, I'm also going to give you guys a practical takeaway. I do always try to have like practical takeaways woven into the episodes, but today I want to just really give you guys like, okay, this is what I want you to try this week that I think will help you. Because I think that, especially right now, we just kind of need like, okay, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of things out there. This is what I just need to do. Okay. So we're going to go through it here. Okay. The first thing that I'm working on that you can also be as well is pre-planning your rest. So again, not just kind of letting things go and being like, oh, whatever. I'm just like chilling right now. It doesn't matter. I want you to be intentional about your rest and determine what you think is going to be the most restful for you. Obviously, this is going to look different person to person depending on like your job, your family, what your current living situation is like. If if you're extroverted or introverted, those things are always going to be different for different people. For me, what I need for to be really restful is I need to be unplugged because I'm on social media so much and I'm on the internet so much. So for me, I need to be not using a phone, not scrolling on social media. I need to be unplugged for my brain to like turn off. And for me, that takes at least like 48, no, like at least 24 hours for it to kind of fully like, actually, no, okay. I think that it takes like a good 24 hours for me to kind of feel like that I'm not feeling that sense of like, oh, I need to check. I need to check. And then it takes at least 48 hours for me to fully like kind of like forget about social media where it's like really goes to the back of my head. So I love to plan to take like a good for me, I love to take like about 7 days, sometimes even more if I can, where I am fully like unplugged, not posting anything. Like I'm not thinking about social media. I'm not planning social media because I do sometimes like, I do often as part of my regular like weekly rhythm, I will brick my phone so I can't go on social media. But sometimes during that time, I'm still like, planning my content for the week, like just on a piece of paper, like thinking about it or brainstorming, even if I'm not actively like on my phone doing it. So for me, pre-planning my rest looks like having a good social media break where I am fully not thinking about it. So I usually like to do that sometime between December. Sometimes it depends on the year. Sometimes I'll do before Christmas where I'm like, okay, I need to be done before Christmas and just like fully be unplugged. So I'll do like December 18th till like January 1st. Sometimes I'll do from like I like to post on Christmas, so I'll post like kind of up until Christmas, and then I'll do like December 25th until like January like 7th or something. Like I do like to take a good chunk of time in there where I am fully not on. So that's one way that I personally like to rest. As someone who is self-employed, I also really try to not have space where I am not working. I'm not trying to hustle. I'm able to just like if I'm sitting down on the couch, I'm not pulling up my laptop. I'm reading a book or I'm like doing a puzzle with family or I'm engaging in conversation. So I do try to be able to have space to do that. And why I'm talking about this now is because if we want to be able to have that space for rest, it does need to be pre-planned. Like this is not like, when we were in elementary school and we had Christmas break and it was kind of like, okay, you're on Christmas break now. Like whether you did stuff or not, like you're on Christmas break. A lot of us have responsibilities where it's like, okay, if I want to be able to take like a good like 5-7 days where I'm like resting, don't have responsibilities, doing, just chilling, it usually requires that we do some work ahead of time to be able to prepare for that. So that's why I wanted you to start thinking about that now, what you need to do in order to do that. Are there things that you need to like get finished or projects that you need to do to be able to make that work? Maybe you are someone who's like doesn't have the option to like, take a good chunk of time. That's fine, but what are you going to do on the time that you do have? Like if you have 2 days off at Christmas, like what do you want those days to look like? Do you want to be scrolling on your phone during that time? Do you want to, if you are someone who only has like, 2 days off around Christmas time, what do you want those days to look like? Do you want to be scrolling on your phone? Do you want to be at home by yourself? Are you wanting to intentionally be with friends during that time? Think about how you want to spend the time that you do have in rest now, because you do need to be able to plan for it, especially with how busy this season is. I promise you it is going to creep up on you. So as much as you can, pre-plan your rest. Your practical takeaway for this is to sit down, decide what you want your rest to look like for the season, and actually like write it down somewhere along with the steps that you need to do in order to accomplish that. So are you going to spend 2 to 7 days off social media? Are you going to not work on your business during that time? Are you going to spend time with family? You're going to see friends? Sit down and actually write those things down that you want to do and what you need to do in order to accomplish that. Moving on to your physical space, it is decluttering season. And I think that this is something that I often don't feel like doing because it doesn't really feel natural for me to do during this time. Because like there's Christmas decorations out, there's just like lots of things out. So I'm not really thinking about like, oh, I should be decluttering right now. However, I saw someone recommend to do this during this time and say like, okay, in, end of November, early December, take some time to declutter your space so that it is just like one thing that you're doing to get ahead for January. In January, I feel like when the Christmas decorations comes down, you want your space to be like decluttered and fresh for the new year. So I feel like as much as you can do ahead of time to declutter, and this for me has already felt so better. I took some time this past week to go through all of our toddler's toys, and we've never done this since he's been a baby. And it was so nice. Like we had so many like random like, I don't know, like McDonald's toys or things that like we got at the thrift store that like, he asked us to get in the moment and we're like, sure. And like, just there's just like so many random toys and things that we'd collected over the last 2 years. So it felt so good to just donate so much of that stuff. And that I know that like as we're bringing in new Christmas stuff, we actually have space for it. There's like literally empty space on his toy shelves right now. So it's perfect. And I feel so good about it. So your practical takeaway for this week is to go around your house with a thrift store bag and try to get rid of much stuff as much as you can donate and get out of your house before Christmas, before you bring in any new stuff, before you have that urge to kind of like get things organized in January. As much as you can do beforehand now, I promise will make you feel so much better for the new year. Next up, we are building our cozy winter night routine. Okay. If you do not currently have a plan for when the sun goes down, we're going to work on that this week because this is the time of year when the sun goes down, your motivation to do things is like just completely decreased, right? Like there is just not a lot of, it is so hard to force yourself to go out and like do something, whether that is inside or outside of your house after the sun is down and it's so dark out and it's dreary and it's like, oh, do I really want to like bundle up and like go to someone's house or go to this thing? And it's just very tempting and easy to just be like, you know what? I'm just going to sit on the couch and scroll. I'm just going to sit on the couch and eat snacks and watch a movie. Like, I do not care. And again, the whole point of today is what we're trying to set ourselves up for 2026, right? So the more that we can start building a good night routine now for the winter, the better that it is going to like continue into 2026 and help us not get into kind of that like seasonally depressed state that is very easy to get to between January and March. So your practical to do this week is to start creating a evening routine menu for yourself. I've talked a lot about having routine menus. I have a whole episode on like my morning menu breakdown, which you can very easily apply to an evening routine. But the basic premise is that instead of giving yourself a rigid, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do at night, and there's like 10 steps and like you have to do the same thing every night, you give yourselves options in terms of like, okay, here are 3 different types of evening routines that I could do depending on my energy level, depending on what I'm looking for that night. And then you can always like switch those activities around. So sometimes you'd have like, maybe you do want to have like watching a movie as one of your evening routine menu options, which is totally fine. I love watching Christmas movies this time of year in the evenings. But I do think that like trying to be a little bit more intentional about that being like a active choice and you being like, okay, yes, I'm going to watch a movie tonight, but like I'm actually going to go like instead of just like watching on my laptop on, in my bed, I'm going to like go sit on the couch. I'm going to light some candles. We're going to make a cute snack with it. We're going to make tea with it. Like making it into more of a moment and a choice because rather than it just feeling like this is just like you're watching a movie again, yeah, I guess I'll watch a movie again. Like making it a little bit more of like a moment and a vibe, I feel like is helpful for your brain to be like, okay, this is something that I'm choosing to do. I'm enjoying doing it. It's not just out of like, I don't have anything else to do. So like that could be one of your options. Another one of your options could be like working, like doing some type of hobby that you like to do in the evening, and at least spending like, you know what, I'm going to spend an hour doing my hobby. Then I'm going to like do my skincare, do my tea, and then I'm going to go scroll Pinterest in my bed. So you can, I'm not saying that you would need to like cut yourself off from technology in the evenings, but I'm just saying that having some type of intention and writing out your different options of things you can do can be really helpful, because your decision making skills, by the end of the day, you have made so many decisions in the day, you're decision fatigued. You do not want to have to try to like come up with a new idea of like, what should I do? But if you have something written out in terms of like, okay, these are some options, you've already thought about them when your brain was working in the middle of the day. It's so much easier to be able to be like, okay, you know what? I can spend an hour and like, I'm going to wrap my gifts right now, or I can spend an hour and read my Kindle, or like look at a magazine, or whatever it may be. So your practical to do is to take the time, write out an evening routine menu, or you could just even call it, like, if you want to just do it for December, it could be like your December, like routine, or like your December evening bucket list or something like that, and have different things that you could do in the evenings on there. Okay, the next one is not the most fun, but it is revisiting your budget and spending habits. This one is one that I personally just had to do this past week because things were getting a little bit crazy. And I know that during this time of year, it is so easy to justify our spending and overspending and overconsumption, and feeling like, I feel like it's easy to justify on all sides. It's easy to justify in the sense of like, oh, well, like I have to get this person a gift and I really want to make sure that it's good. Like I don't want to get them something like that's not good. Like they got me this last year, and like I really want to make sure that they like get something good. Or it's easy to justify on the gift giving side. Then it's also easy to justify on the fact of like, so many things go on sale during this time of year. Every single company says like, our biggest sale of the year, we only do this once a year. Like marketing is at, it is like its peak. Okay. So it's very easy to justify on a personal sense, because it's like, okay, well, I know that I need to, restock my skincare eventually. Like it's probably going to run out in the next couple months anyway. So like I may as well purchase it now, or I may as well, I've been wanting this necklace for so long. It's been in my cart forever and it's on sale, and like it probably is not going to go on sale again. So like I should probably buy it. It's going to save me so much money if I buy it now. And it's just like, it's very easy to go down all of those paths. And I feel like also too, once I start doing that, then it's easy to just kind of like continue in terms of like, well, I've already overspent this month, so what's another $100, right? Like I've already bought more gifts than I probably like should have. So like what's buying, like I might as well just buy that person a gift. Like they are so, like they deserve it. Like I really love them. I want to show them that I love them. Like I'm going to buy them another gift. So it can be very, very easy to let this time of year be like a wash in terms of like our money, and just be like, it doesn't matter. It's fine. But let me tell you that it is just not fun to, at the end of December, to just look back and be like, ugh, I should not have done that. And that does not start my year off well. So that is my reminder to you to, have some accountability and discipline for yourself, and be able to realize like, if you have been overspending in this season, how can you move forward in these next few weeks and be like, okay, what does this look like for me? And how can I take steps to actively like be intentional with my money right now? Your practical to do this week is to go over your Christmas budget if you have one. If you do not have one, just make a list of like who you still need to purchase gifts for, if you still need to purchase anything, without looking on, like, do not look on Instagram, do not look on TikTok or Pinterest, like don't look at anything, and actually think about, okay, is there anything that I truly actually do like need to buy? Like, is there anything that I actually need to buy that I like, without the justification of like looking at the sales, like without seeing how much it is on sale? Is there anything that I actually need to buy that I'm out of, that like, I actually need? Make a list of those things, and then you can go and look and like see if they're on sale, and then you can go and whatever. But do not go through the social media apps, or don't go through the company's websites and then make that list. Like make that list first and then go to it. So those are my two little practical to-dos for you. Okay, the last thing is to intentionally make space for reflection. One thing that a lot of us can do is we can finish off a season, we can finish off a year, and then we get so excited about like the feeling of a fresh start, especially if you're, a type B ADHD girl like me, which most of you are. You get so excited about the fact that like, okay, we're going into a new season. I just like am craving something fresh. I'm ready for that to be done. And you just like start doing your goal setting. You start like making a plan. You start like, okay, I'm buying a new planner. I'm buying all this stuff. Like we're starting again fresh. What we miss and I'm guilty of this because this is not as like fun and sparkly often, is we miss creating space for us to be able to reflect on what just happened to us. And I think that there is so much that can be learned in looking back, in seeing where we've come from, in looking and figuring out what was hard this year, what do I need to adjust this year in a way that is actually like there's space around it and it's not just like creating all these new goals and like trying to like make ourselves feel good with like, oh, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do. Sometimes I feel like we do that as a way to kind of avoid the pain of like, oh, these are the things that I kind of failed at this year and I don't love this part of what happened this year. So I'm just going to focus on the new year because that's like easier for me to do and I know that like I will feel good by like writing out all my goals. So I do think that is very important to create space for ourselves to be able to reflect, to look back at this year, actually take the time to be like, okay, what was good about this year? What was hard about this year? What were some things that were out of my control that really affected me? What were some things that were in my control that I allowed to happen? And for me, two ways that I think are really useful to do this is in community and alone. So I think that there is so much like power and joy in sharing our like life and what we're doing and what we've learned and like sharing those highs and low moments with other people and being able to like actually talk about those things. And then I think there's also like it's also very good to be able to do that alone and to be able to reflect and journal and like go through all of what happened this year. So my encouragement, the practical to-dos for this is to chat with someone, actually like intentionally ask them like, "Hey, I really want to chat about our last year. I want to reflect with you. Why don't we come up with like some highs and lows from the last year and share them together?" And, go for coffee, go for wine, have it like just sit on the couch, have a chill evening and just chat through with someone like intentionally, like not just like hope that they bring it up in conversation, like actually ask them ahead of time, say, "Hey, why don't we come to like, why don't you prep something? I'll prep something." In the past, I've done this with like PowerPoint presentations, which is also really fun if you want it to be more of like an event. You could also do it like that. But I feel like just forcing yourself to look back and be like, okay, what was good helps you with the gratitude of like, oh, even if this was a hard year, there were some things that were still really, really good. And then even reflecting on the hard things also help us to process those things so that they're not just something that is going to like, we're not just like burying those things and be like, it's fine. We're just moving on. So first practical takeaway is to do that with someone, whether that is a friend or your husband or whoever, doing that with someone. And again, you could do it with a couple people as well, but like, in community. And then the second one would be by yourself. So whatever that looks like for you, for me, that looks like having an evening where where it's quiet. I'm like maybe having a bath, lighting candles. I then am like sitting in bed or sitting at a desk, have my journal open, have my laptop open. I'm maybe going through like my calendar, writing out some key dates, like actually taking the time to like reflect on how my year was. If you on Pinterest, there's lots of journal prompts for like, just type in like journal prompts for the new year. And often there'll be like reflection questions from the past year. You could just type in reflection questions on Pinterest. But if you need some prompting, but I just think that, I'm going to be doing lots of like goal setting episodes and chatting about, how to have a great start to the new year and how to set goals for the new year, how to make rebrand yourself for the new year. But I do want to just emphasize that we do really miss out on that growth and transformation when we just skip to the next stage and we don't take the time to reflect. So I highly encourage you to make space for that this season. Maybe it's not in December. Maybe December is a little bit too crazy for you to even like wrap your mind around that. But sometime, between like December and the beginning of January, actually taking the time to not just rush into the new year with all these goals and expectations, but to take the time to take account of what this past year looked like. Thank you so much for listening to another Hot Mess Habits episode. Make sure that you are subscribed. Over the next weeks, we are going to be posting a podcast every week, as well as I'm going to be starting Vlogmas on YouTube. So if you are someone who likes watching daily vlogs, this will be for you. I'm so excited to be doing that. If you want to follow along with Vlogmas, make sure that you are subscribed on YouTube. I will probably post the links on our Instagram as well. Make sure you're following that at Hot Mess Habits. Otherwise, I will see you guys again here next week. Bye.